we've talked with over 100 wholesalers, and there is one thing that is common to the biggest and the smallest.
I'm curious about what signals you're getting.
How can I find what is fit for me, that is going to sell, that is going to convert, that is profitable after all of the different parameters? And what we're trying to do is creating the new marketplace, and we call it the market maker. It's an active one.
Today, we are here with Alon, the co-founder and CEO of Bazarr.ai. He's a naval officer turned entrepreneur and is passionate about creating the AI-powered market maker for wholesalers. So let's jump right in. Hi, everyone. We're so excited to have Alon here with Bazarr.ai to join us today to talk about his wonderful work in the wholesale space. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So hi, everyone, and thank you very much, Duan Chen, for having me. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. We're Bazarr.ai. I'm the co-founder and CEO. And what we do is we create an AI deal engine for wholesalers. So in other words, we help online wholesalers grow through AI-generated resale deals.
Yeah, so how did you come up with the idea?
So it takes us back a little while, how we formed the team. So I'm originally from Israel, and as every Israeli guy goes, he needs to go to the army. And I was a naval officer. That means for 8 years, I pretty much lived on waters. And this is where I met my team. We know each other right now for over 10 years. We have over 10 years of experience working together. And after we finished our service, we formed a group that was creating online brands and wholesaling others on Amazon. It is a really exciting world, the world of e-commerce. It gives you the ability to create things of your own and express yourself, and also do global business, which is amazing. And on the other hand, I call it's a very dirty world, meaning it's cumbersome, it is manual. The premise that the innovation just flooded in our industry is incorrect. So as wholesalers ourselves, it led us to imagine, what if things were different? What if things worked automatically and were more seamlessly? So that helped us, or let's say led us, to create Bazarr.ai. And the original thought was to do it for ourselves, like create an engine that finds great products, create deals, and we will resell them ourselves. And then we realized, after talking with the biggest sellers, right? I'm talking about 9-figure sellers, wholesalers, that they also need it. So that's when we understood, okay, we have something huge here, and let's create something for the industry, not only for us.
Right. I was wondering, in the beginning, were you guys focused on one specific area of wholesale? Like what kind of product you guys are carrying? And do you see a difference across the product lines on the problem that you're describing here?
Definitely. So I think that like every wholesaler or private labeler, which are the ones that create the brands, the first thing you do is going after what we call a passion product. We already have our hobbies and interests, and we kind of look for the similar products that match our own interests. So the first 3 products we created was a flask, because we were used to go skiing, like on our holidays, used to go ski. So a flask that we've created. We've created kind of a special drum, like an instrument, because we love music. And afterwards, we realized that the general goods like home decor, beauty, and wearables were more general and profitable, like easier markets to reach, higher demand, and less niche.
Right.
So this is when we diverged into being wholesalers of those categories. Now, there's a lot of different categories outside, and I think that most wholesalers find themselves somehow in a specific category. And we batched the big 5, which is beauty, beauty, home decor, wearables, pets, and babies.
When you're going into this wholesale space, you said you pivoted into wholesale. So does that mean that you guys were doing retailing individual products before? And why did the pivot? Yeah.
Yeah, so the thing about, and I think that if there is private labelers or brands out there that there is listening to me, today there is a big competition when regarding creating products from scratch. I think I pointed to the barrier to entry. Today is almost zero because you only need a connection to the web, and then
Right.
everyone can see your product and imitate you in a minute, literally like that. And you only need the $20 to make a Shopify store. And today with AI, it can also be designed very well, even with no design skills. So the barrier to entry is so low that we saw that once we launch a product, today it needs to be very, very unique, special, and have its own barrier to entry, because otherwise 100 other people will copy it and try to sell them themselves.
Yeah.
So that made us become actually like a quarter of all sellers and wholesalers. And we liked it very much because in the end of the day, the wholesalers play a crucial point, a role inside the supply chain ecosystem. Because the one thing that the brands need, and even the biggest brands, and this is the little secret sauce, even the top 1%, Nike, Colgate, whichever huge brand, they live on those distribution lines. Their secret is that they have so many individual wholesalers. Of course, they are big. I mean, the
Right.
artists one work with big wholesalers, but the thing is that distribution is such a crucial key, and most private labelers try to do it their own, trying a direct to consumer approach. And the correct thing that we see, like the trend goes, that you start to form distribution lines with those who are more fit, that have the target audiences, those wholesalers that are already established, and they are better fit to resell your product. And then you stretch your arms to deeper consumer end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what led us essentially both the fierce competition of creating brands of our own that is keeps being copied, and the other fact that the brands, that this is their lifeline, wholesaling is the lifeline of the brands, that really made us pivot to this type of business.
Yeah, it's very exciting and booming industry as well. I was wondering, you also touched upon product sourcing. So that's a huge topic as of itself. So can you tell me a little bit about how your company is tackling this product sourcing problem with AI?
Right. So for the listeners who don't know the term, product sourcing is the act of finding new products to resell. Now, it seems very basic and simple, but the fact is that it's trying to find the needle in a haystack. And the reason is because you, as a wholesaler, you have a specific profile, right? You are located somewhere in the world. You have your own specifics of budget and which category you want to sell, etc., etc. And now you need to find out of billions of products, literally billion, there are 4 billion different products in the world. How can I find what is fit for me, that is going to sell, is going to convert, that is profitable after all of the different parameters? So your everyday work is to always try to navigate manually the internet and connections, etc., and trying to find that special products that is a great fit for you that you're going to sell. And today it is manual and cumbersome. It is taking on average a 3 months duration. And we've talked with over 100 wholesalers, and there is one thing that is common to the biggest and the smallest. They share the two same problems, the same two suffering stories. they either bought a product and the price fell down because prices for products are fluctuating.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the second thing is sometimes it's slow selling, and they thought they did it their sales forecasting, and it got wrong, and now they're stuck with the inventory.
Yeah.
And they lose up to $40 billion a year. And the way we thought about it, we thought, okay, there's a problem of finding a needle in a haystack. You need to filter millions of products and dozens of parameters for each individual, and get that only the top 1% is for you. And we thought, all right, sounds like a classical use case for AI.
Yeah.
Classic machine learning problem to need to identify out of 100, what is the 101 that is going to be for me?
Right.
And we've trained a model. This is our engine that today it knows we fill it in with millions of products. It takes into account those parameters. It understands your individual profile as a wholesaler, and it determines the top 1% products for you.
Yeah,
and
exactly. Right.
So in a sense, we've covered two things. Bazarr.ai not only matches you with the product you need, but it also gives you the bottom line, the forecasted, let's say, forecasted price and sales velocity for you. So we de-risk the deal.
Right.
So in a sense, what we've created is a complete market maker, meaning that it's not a marketplace that we brought two sides and now you need to negotiate and do the terms and understand and do everything, but you get a complete buying offer only to execute on.
Yeah. So curious about what's the current accuracy on the prediction from the tests that you've done?
Yeah, so we've targeted Amazon USA because it's the biggest one and the one that we're very familiar with. And we saw a 90% accuracy.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Velocity and pricing. Yeah, we've tracked the model for over 7 months.
Exactly. If that translates into money, that's a huge amount. Yeah.
Exactly.
Can you help me walk through, let's say if I'm a wholesaler, what would be my experience working through your platform?
Sure. So actually it splits into two. For a wholesaler, when you will log into Bazarr.ai, you will just click Bazarr Me Up. You will enter a budget, enter Amazon profile. Today, we are only targeting Amazon. But our vision extends beyond that marketplace because we can integrate a lot of different data points from different marketplaces. So the vision extends, but if you're an Amazon wholesaler today, what you're going to do is you're going to log into our platform, and then you're going to just enter your Amazon ID so we can read your profile, understand your past listings, your reviews, and your performance overall. You then enter your budget or how much you want to buy this month, or literally how much you want to buy right now. And then when you click Bazarr Me Up, the AI knows to integrate your profile with the products that are already onboarded on our backend, and it generates you this list of products that you can buy directly from Bazarr.ai. So this is in the terms of the wholesaler, what he sees as a user. In the terms of the product itself, how it works in the back end. So as I've mentioned, we are constantly onboard new suppliers, new brands that they integrate their products to our system. We right now have over 200,000 different products, different SKUs. And what's happening is that our AI is constantly sitting on the Amazon data sources that we have, and it's constantly defining by categories, by top selling. Every time it's fluctuating, what is going to be the next product, the next trend, etc. And when a specific user plugs in and press the button, so it just pulls out from our back end those top 1% that fits in the same time that he wanted to get the product, and he gets matched with it.
Got it. So you also mentioned on the supplier side, how are you acquiring those suppliers, and do they have conflicts in the sense of, let's say a supplier, if you bring in a supplier with, let's say, a clothing line supplier, and another one have similar products, do you see a competition within your in your platform right there?
So in terms of why they want to come or onboard their products, so it's easy for me because every brand or every retailer know that you always want to sell more. Always. If you have an opportunity to sell more and fairly easy, like in big bulks, they're just running to me. The thing about the internal competition, so one thing that is interesting with our algorithm that we're developing currently is the first time that we can do monitoring between the competition. And what I mean by that is that when a supplier will, when we will have a form for suppliers, like when they tag their data, so what we can do is we can create offers that you would not see outside of the platform. And what I mean by that, for example, let's say that I have 10 wholesalers and 10 small ones, okay? And they buy, let's say their purchasing power is $10,000. This is what they can afford. What I can do as Bazarr.ai is go to the supplier and tell him, listen, this is cost, let's say, assume $1 per piece. I'm going to buy 10,000 pieces, but you are going to give it to me in 50 cents. And what I do is I batch a group of wholesalers. And let's assume one is from Amazon, one is from Walmart, one is from, let's say, Amazon Italy, right? Something else. And I create for them an opportunity, like a purchasing group that they don't know about, but I could get an exclusive offer from the supplier and send 1,000 pieces each in a price they could never get in the outside market. And the opportunities are huge. I can flip the script and let's talk about the supplier side. A lot of times they get stuck with inventory. And this is what you called an liquidation market.
Exactly.
You've ever went to an outlet in the US? So it's not that the big brands, Nike, Adidas, are nice and want to give you a 50% discount on last year inventory. They just couldn't, they can't sell it. So say, I'd rather get the cash flow, so I'm gonna just throw it away and try to sell it, right? So it's a problem for everyone. Every brand is handling liquidation problem. And what we can do with Bazarr is when you input your inventory and tag it as want to liquidate, what we can do is we can create an amazing offer because, okay, sometimes I'll give you the most simple use case, seasonality. And some it's summer, in another it becomes winter, right? So I can create a liquidation offer and giving my wholesalers 70% off because I found an opportunity. The whole process is managed by our engine.
Yeah. So it's a very smart way to activate both sides.
Yeah. It's for us, and I repeat, we call it the market maker because we found a way to take a feasible technology and try to renew. And this is, by the way, why we call it Bazarr with a double R, because Bazarr with double A is the original wholesale marketplace that was founded in 1455 in Turkey. And what we're trying to do is creating the new marketplace, and we call it the market maker. It's an active one.
I'm curious about what signals you're getting. Where are you getting them from?
Yeah, so it's somewhat confidential, but what I can tell you is we have 5 trusted sources that sometimes they give their API straightforward. Sometimes we had to work with the data. Our edge was that we are sellers ourselves. So we knew which data points are more critical on, let's say, to start. The interesting thing that we're doing over time, is we've created another model, not the deal engine itself, that his purpose is to do deep learning and try to identify, after we have use cases, which parameters, which signals are stronger and goes beyond the reach of our knowledge as experienced sellers. And it's constantly working. And we assume that in the next year, we would also be able to provide greater insights, not only as deals, but rather tell you how to better optimize and operate your store, because we understand the critical signals and the critical ratios in order for a wholesaler to succeed.
Yeah. So changing gear a little bit, I was wondering about what are the biggest problems or challenges you have encountered through the several months you've been working on this?
Yeah, so the first problem we encountered is gating the data, how to find the exact signals. And by the way, today with AI, we see a different type of problem arise, that what is trusted data? The second thing, and which was problematic, is to really validate our accuracy, because on our world, differentiate from, let's say, from digital classic world, such as stock market, and transaction and the actual performance of a product is around 3 month cycle until you deliver it and then you start selling it. So it's around 3 months in order only to validate. And right now, we're fairly new. It's exciting in one way. And we're now onboarding new sellers. Actually, we have a waiting list and they get onboarded every day and we push it and see what comes up.
Yeah. Okay, you use the data that generated from the users that's on your platform to continue enforcing the models and improving them?
Yes, our model has a data loop. So whenever a user uses our product, we also learn from it and our model gets better.
So what is the current state of the company and the product?
So we are now at MVP, which means that right now, as I described earlier, people or wholesalers can log in and they can get Bazarred, get matched with products and buy on our platform. The thing that is missing and our vision goes to, we are aiming to launch our full product with the offering model on August. So that means...
Almost there.
Yeah, so what I mean by that is the offering model is the one that creates the opportunity, meaning that it's not only given by the brand, it means that our algorithm will be able to create, let's call it push offers for you, that let's say as a wholesaler, hey, if you had this shoe in 50 cents, would you buy them 10,000 pieces? If he says yes, then he goes to this original supplier and creates those type of deals that is like a smart facilitated deals and save a lot of time and money for them. Yes,
So,
and I'm excited about it.
yeah, so you said August is the time for that, the full
Yeah.
product.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
right now, still you can log into Bazarr.ai, get matched with products and buy them on our website. And as I mentioned, right now, the data is still available, meaning that you still see the product and see how much are you going to sell and what will be your bottom line in profits. In the future, what we aim to do is we aim to make it a paid service. You do get matched with the products, but if you want to see how much are you going to sell for the price point, then you need to buy a certain subscription in order to see data. So right now, I say everyone can see and get the full version.
Is there any competitors around, similar product?
Yeah, so our main competitor is Fair. Fair is an online wholesale marketplace that connects between wholesalers and retailers. Retailers are the end consumers for like a physical store, usually. And the thing about them is they really figured it out that, as I mentioned, distribution is king, and brands are constantly looking to distribute their brands as far as they can. And they need help. This help come in the form of wholesalers. And as I mentioned, the main differentiation between us and the competitors, which I very respect, they are huge unicorn, is they are a marketplace. They brought two sides, and they still keep the manual work between the two entities, the brand and the wholesaler. And we are a market maker. That means that the two sides only fill their profile. They only give access to their data, and the algorithm does the automatic matchmaking. So it is both automated and fast and seamless, meaning it is backed by data, and we cover you in de-risking the whole process.
Yeah, so what's next? You said about August was a full product, but what's next? What's your vision for 5 years?
So for 5 years, I see ourselves being I call it the biggest market maker. That means that when you create a product, it will be obvious for you, like you don't go necessarily to Amazon, you go to Bazarr. And as I see it, it is the omni-channel experience for brands. And for those who find the term vague, omni-channel experience is when you are in the center and you get centered with all of the needs is fulfilled for you in one platform. So I see a brand or a wholesalers enter Bazarr, and you have your interface, you get your match with your products, you see, you manage your inventory levels on multiple marketplaces, and you do everything inside. So it's a one-stop shop for the wholesaler, which is a huge market.
Yeah.
So this is our vision.
Yeah, that's
And
great.
being taking the Bazarr of 1455 and creating the Bazarr of 2024. This is for me, it's pioneering the marketplace as a concept.
Yeah, absolutely. The next question would be a little bit different. I want to dive a little bit into your 8 years in service.
Okay.
So I was wondering about what are the lessons you've learned from the 8 years of service as a naval officer? Have that applied to your startup career? Have you applied any similarities and what lessons you've learned?
So I have to admit that if I wasn't a naval officer, I think that I wouldn't be an entrepreneur today. The main thing as a naval officer, the main value that I've learned or acquired is resilience. The sea, and you don't have to be a naval officer. You can also be, a sailor, just a sailor in a yacht. I think the sea is my greatest tutor. It humbles you. He's hard on you. And specifically, yes, as a captain, no matter how hard it is, the eyes will always be on you for the accountability, for the performance, for the motivation, the energy. When it's the hardest and everybody is down, people will always look on me as the captain. And if I will go down, then it's over. So always have to maintain myself with high level energy, with hope, with vision. And I'm not sure if you've specifically been in high seas, but high seas, just being on a boat, not doing actively anything, just being on a boat on a 10-foot waves that hitting on you and trying to stay a person, a human, it's extremely hard. Not talking about actually performing.
Yeah.
And I think, and I'm talking honestly, that everybody who's listening to it, and he is an entrepreneur, he or she is entrepreneur in 2024, it's a very hard market right now. The competition is very high. A lot of amazing talents is out there. Not a lot of capital out there like 2021. The game has changed. And now we need to do, when you need to run the long game, we need to stay with very self-belief, with a lot of passion for what we do, and be resilient. And I know to the listeners that listen right now that I am with you, in the trenches with you, fighting the entrepreneur war in order to create something really meaningful. And I knew that without the strength I learned from my time in the Navy, it will be very hard for me to develop it on my own.
I have a lot of respect on that answer, and it's very insightful and beautiful.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not intended as financial or investment advice. We do not guarantee the accuracy, completeness, or timeliness of the information presented. This podcast is not an offer or solicitation for the purchase or sale of any financial instrument. Thank you for subscribing and see you guys soon.